Hello, hello. Welcome to the team call. Hi, everyone. All right, people are loading in. We'll go ahead and get this kicked off. Okay, some real quick announcements. What's going on this month? So I wanted to also, something that I planned to do was the Team Cup bingo drawing. I meant to do it like live in the live Facebook live video, but I figured since I'm behind, I might as well do it here live. But if you're not, if you're not in that Team Cup bingo event, basically I've created a cute little way to incentivize our vital behaviors with bingo. I explained it last week. You can go in there and check it out. It's a past event that you have to search it as a past event. So yes, print that out, Molly. Do that. You're doing your vitals anyway. You might as well get some prizes for it, right? You might as well earn points towards prizes or a chance at prizes. And you know what? How about I'm going to show you what you can earn. I have not shipped out last week's prizes. It's sitting there on my desk. That will happen. I have a cute little Be Still Bohemian wrap, an Ella Smart Hydration Reminder, Team Phoenix calendars. I know Ashley Kuzmicki has got her eyes on this one. Really cool graphics. I had this designed. Have two of those, and I'm going to be raffling off a cooler, one of the custom coolers that I had made. So I told you guys if there were for every 10 entries, I do one prize, and we had around 18 last week. So I went ahead and did two. We had over 50 this week, so I'm really proud of you guys, and I get to draw 5 prizes. But I don't want to take up too much time because we have 4 awesome speakers. They're going to share some awesome stuff with us. So let me do that really quick. It's fun to do it live with you guys all here. I mean, you guys were killing it. The people who just participated, they had multiple entries. That was fun. Okay, real quick. For the Be Still bracelet, Ashley, that's you. Congratulations. For the Ella reminder, water reminder, this is fun, guys. This is really cool. Oh, Ashley, look at you. She did a lot. She did a lot. Let me make sure that we're all mixed up. Okay. A calendar. And yes. Taylor, that's you. Taylor, yeah. I love these calendars. Okay, next calendar is Ashley. You go. Way to go, Ashley. This is what she wanted. She's been wanting this. She asked me in December if I was making them. Okay, and then we have a cooler. This is the big one, the big custom cooler that I made. Okay, the winner is Ashley. I promise they're mixed up, but she legit did a lot of vitals this month. I cut out a lot of her name. So, wow, there's a big box coming your way. Gotta do it. That's going to be some shipping label.
Hey, can I peek in here?
Yes, who's this?
Sorry, yeah, it's me. It's me. I actually got the cooler for the Super Bowl thing already. So I don't know if you want to pull it for somebody else.
Do you want me to draw for somebody else? Hey, it's your call.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Yeah.
Team player, that Ashley. Okay. All right, here we go. For the cooler, it is Taylor. Woohoo! Crush the rest of the 80-day obsession. You guys excited for refeed tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off. If this is your first time on a team call, welcome. Every Tuesday night, we do this at 9 p.m. And we share training from either me, other coaches on the team, or have guest speakers. And tonight, we have 4 coaches who are going to be sharing their experience or sharing some highlights from their experience at the New Leaders Conference. This is something that happens every winter. And the qualifications have varied the past few years, but this past year and this coming year, I believe that they're the same. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But it is 1-star diamond and then a certain number of elite points. And you can look in your FAQs, 10 elite points. Is that right? Okay. You can look in your FAQs to figure out how you learn elite points and what they are. So we're not going to spend time on that, but that's definitely worth a look. It's a really great goal if you're already going to be leveling up your business towards diamond and beyond. New Leader Conference is a really great goal to aim for, because you don't want to just be thinking about rank. You want to be thinking about things like team leader goal, which really reiterates the kind of behaviors that grow people, and elite points. This is also a leadership type metrics. So take a look at that if your goals are aligned with something like that. We've had last year Lauren Friedman earned this. Before that, Katie Arhan, Andrea Stevens, Jen McNeil. And this year, I think we had 5 qualify. Is that accurate? And 4 were able to attend. And Teresa Levine was unable to attend. But tonight you're going to hear from Sarah Whiteside, Valerie Beecher, Stephanie Marsilio, and Chris Stauffer. And so I'm going to let them take it away, but I did want to celebrate them and recognize them again for earning this. It is a really big deal. You heard me name all the names. There's not a whole lot of people who advance their business that far. So definitely look to these leaders as people to, learn from, and watch them on social media, learn from them. They are obviously moving themselves forward and moving others forward. That's what it's. Leaders don't just advance in rank. They actually help others achieve their goals. They duplicate. And so these girls are to be applauded. And I thank them all so much for sharing what they learned. I'm going to shut my mouth with the exception of this. Remember that we have a $10 off promo this month. And it's a really great opportunity to follow up with people who have told you no, but they're interested in the challenge group. It's a really great opportunity to say, hey, I know that you mentioned wanting to tackle your fitness goals, and I thought I'd reach out to you because we have a special offer this month. I don't know how often they'll do these kind of things because they haven't done this much in a while. So it's definitely worth reaching out to the people on your list that have said no once, twice, 3 times, or 6 times, because this might be the month, and especially with that little boost. So yes, that's all I'm going to say for now, and I'm going to mute and let these girls do their thing.
Thanks, Megan. I am going to be going first, and I'm going to be talking about what we heard from Bonnie Engel, who I really admire her business and her energy in the company. And she talked about Instagram, and I remember she introduced herself as corporate calling her to talk about Instagram. She was like, can I talk about anything else? I don't know anything about Instagram. And so I feel like that was kind of something that I needed to talk about, because that's me. I would easily say 2 months ago in December, I knew nothing about Instagram. And it was, again, one of those things that we're always encouraged to do. Just start. Even if you have no idea what you're doing, just do something. And that's been working for me so far. And I've been learning as I go along. And I started in January saying that I was going to put my first quarter of this year focused on Instagram and learning it. And then there was national wake up calls about Instagram, and there was trainings that were shared in our Phoenix Rising group. And so I've gotten a crash course. And then she spoke twice on Instagram at New Leader Conference, and she shared that, I want to say the number, and y'all can chat in the text if it's not right, but I want to say she said that 90% of her new business last year came from Instagram. That's how she grew her business last year. So that's huge. And it's not oversaturated right now. And it's easier for people to, yes, this is Bonnie Engel. It's easier for people to find you on Instagram with the hashtags. So I'm just going to kind of shoot down all of the information that she gave us. I don't think it's really anything new if you have been listening to the wake up calls and gotten on those Instagram trainings. But take notes and just chat if you guys have questions. I'll answer them at the end. So basically Instagram is the one-stop shop, because you've got a magazine. When somebody goes to your page or whatever it's called in Instagram, they can scroll through everything like that, as opposed to Facebook, where they have to scroll through and they might go back a week. And then you've got your stories, which you can do 15 seconds or pictures throughout your day. She suggests 7 to 10 a day is a good number, and staying consistent with that. And then you've got video as well as pictures that you can post in your, regular Instagram feed, which is a cool feature. And then you can go live, which is something that they added a few months ago. So all of that being on Instagram is really beneficial. She mentioned just posting once a day, like one solid post in your Instagram a day, and then having 7 to 10 stories, and really using hashtags to find your niche and also attract your tribe to you. So search hashtags for the things that you're interested in. Find those 3 to 4 things that define who you are and who you are as a coach, who you are in your life, and who those people are that are gonna be attracted to you. So like, for me, it might be that I'm a teacher or a dance teacher. It might be that I'm single, in my mid 30s, that I live in the mountains. Megan, don't tell them I'm in my late 30s. I'm in my mid 30s. It might be that I'm a mountain girl. It might be recently that like I'm sharing a lot more about being sober, and that's really like the tribe that I want to attract. So finding those 3 to 4 things that define who you are, and then hashtagging some of those things and finding like people and seeing what they're hashtagging. So hashtag things that you're interested in, and then find those people that when you do that hashtag, and you might find somebody, and usually you can just tell by their pictures, or if you read a couple of their posts, if they are your people, and see what they're hashtagging. I know on the Instagram National Wake Up Call a couple of weeks ago, she shared a great app on how to like create hashtags that aren't in the millions. You really want to find hashtags that are in between, like I would say 10 and 80,000 maybe, as opposed to things that are being hashtagged over 100,000 times. And then, she just mentioned, simple basic things that we know that we do in all of our social medias is like, create images and pictures and text for people that you want to attract, people that would be attracted to you. So like maybe not taking the same exact photo every single day, people might be bored, or like maybe it's like actually do your hair, maybe it's not your thing, but I think somebody, having a friend sort of go through and give you advice or give you like their thoughts on your Instagram is always good. If you can get a couple of like people that are your tribe and people that you want to connect with, maybe it's on your downline, your upline, on another team, and get 3 or 4 friends to kind of like critique your page and give you feedback on what it looks like. And somebody had just told her like, you want to do your hair and makeup ever? Like you look like ragamuffin, you know what I mean? So if you're not looking to attract that, then you might want to just like put a little bit of effort into it. With like using filters, having good lighting, clothing, and then being fun and having like personality. And then trying to make your content match up. So, finding 1 or 2 filters that you really like on Instagram and keeping it consistent in your pictures. And then she talked about how, and we all know this too, is how much like just sales in general is so much more online than it ever was before. I don't even remember the numbers. I make stuff up all the time. But it was like, like 75% of Christmas shopping was done online, if not more. Right. And so now companies are connecting with people that are on Instagram, like the normal, like you and me, to sort of sell their product or promote their product in a way, because people would rather buy from real people. People don't want to look at a magazine and see somebody that's not attainable to them. They want to see themselves and wearing that outfit. And so she called it a micro influencer, that we're all micro influencers, and that we're sharing value and content, and people are going to be interested in what we have because, or what we're selling because they get to know us as a person and they can connect with us and relate with us. So think of yourselves as a micro influencer in that way, because we're all selling something. Even if you have a job and you're going to an interview, you still have to sell yourself for that job. And then I was really glad she said this. She said, your brand should change with your life. So, maybe when you started coaching, whenever that was, 2 years ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, most likely you've changed through this process. And like for me, I wasn't sober 3 years ago. My life was totally different. My posting was different. First of all, I was posting just to post because that's what we were supposed to do. And I knew nothing about anything. And like, when I look back at those posts, it's like ridiculous. There's like really no value in content. I didn't know who I was. I'm still discovering that. But knowing that you can change as you change, your brand can change, you can develop. I'm kind of going through that right now. Like I have, my team name is Team Balance Bound, and I'm not there anymore. Like that's not where I am. I found this balance in my life, but now I want to live fuller and I'm fueled by the changes that I've made in sobriety, that I want to connect with different people. And so I feel like I need to do a complete remodel, a complete brand change. And so it was just really nice to hear that. And, in a couple years down the road, I might be a mom, like I might be having a baby. And so like just being able to change along with that and share and connect with people. So you can connect with, moms to hashtag moms to be or something like that, or hashtag pregger moms. But then a year later, it's going to be different hashtags. You don't have to still hold on to that same hashtag. So change and evolve over time as you do naturally and organically. Think about where you are in your life. Make a list of how coaching has changed your life, and be just sharing that in your stories and sharing that in your Instagram, and be really clear that it takes hard work. Because I know that was a shift for me to being invited into the business and coming into the business. In the first few years of my business, it was always like, you can do this in an hour a day, and you can absolutely start in an hour a day. But the reality of creating a full-time business, if that's what you're sort of selling the idea to people of, like, having this as a life, it's not an hour a day. It takes a lot of hard work and discipline. So just being really honest about that, so you're attracting the right people. And then sharing, what the benefits of that are, like the freedom and the flexibility. I was there with Stephanie, and it was so great to be able to connect with the four of us that went. We got to spend a lot of great time together, which was really cool. And so her and I actually came out of it deciding to do like a coaching sneak peek. And we've kind of dabbled in this before on our team. And it was just reiterated by Bonnie, and that always feels good too. Like, okay, we're doing the right thing. She talks about, 2 times a month, do a public what is coaching sneak peek on Instagram and Facebook, and connect the two. So, for example, Stephanie and I this Thursday night are going to be doing a live Facebook what is coaching. But starting tomorrow, we're going to be breadcrumbing coaching on our Instagram stories. And then on Thursday, we're going to do a full day in the life of. And then we have other coaches that we're partnering with to do this call. But I think with the idea of having the connection with Instagram stories is now we don't have to do these hour-long sneak peeks. And we can really value people's time, and they can choose to go follow the other stories and spend 5 minutes on the other stories if they want. And, they will have 5-minute videos in the event in our Facebook page. And so you can just kind of connect the two and give people the freedom to learn as much as they want or not. And so I like the idea of that, because you can, you can share your day in the life of coaching, and then you can just share a screenshot. Like I'll share a screenshot of Stephanie or Taylor or whomever else is doing it with us, and say, hey, go check out my friend Steph's day in the life of coaching. And her day is going to look totally different. And so is Taylor's day, so is Sarah's day, so is Valerie's day. Everybody's day is going to look so different, but at the same time, they'll really get the idea of the community. that we're all together in this, even though each of our businesses looks different. So I think it's a really nice way to kind of share what coaching looks like instead of just verbally blah, blah, blah for an hour about it. And she really reiterated, answering objections in your stories, answering misconceptions, common questions, and just make that throughout your day part of your story. Share the most attractive aspects about the business. Showcase the success of others. I love doing that. Like if we have a thread and there's just like this awesome positivity or this question that's answered or this struggle and then success, I just kind of black out the names and share that on the Instagram story. Share before and afters in your Instagram story. Make it fun and engaging. And she said, be sure and showcase like the non-income favorite parts of the business, because the income doesn't really come until later. And so it's important to, like anything in life, you have to enjoy the process of getting there. Like with our workouts, if you're not enjoying the process of getting your workout in, knowing how good it feels, and then checking in at night with somebody, if that process isn't joyful for somebody, they're not going to stick around. They're not going to have results. So I think it's kind of like we should talk about the non-scale victories, share the non-scale victories of coaching, the non-income victories of coaching. And just be thinking about your overall vision of where you're taking this business so that you can kind of have that clear story that starts to develop on your page. So I'm going to end it with there. And if there's any questions, just y'all might have been reading along. I can answer real quick. Otherwise, I will go ahead and pass the mic. I think it goes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Valerie Beecher. I might be less scene based than you guys. So I've been coaching for a little over 3 years, and I was really excited to be able to go to New Leader Conference, especially with this group of ladies. We had a great time, learned a lot, and it was we all liked how the content was really geared to us and to where we are in our businesses at this point. So I'm going to go over a little bit about volume and compensation. In other words, like show me the money. And I am an engineer by training, so I like all these formulas and everything. So, and this kind of just gave me just a little bit different insight into the business side. But I'm going to kind of talk about it in a way that is more applicable to especially newer coaches. So like newer coaches up to like 1 or 2 star diamond. So as newer coaches, so like ranks of emerald, ruby, diamond, 1 star, and 2 star, there's 2 main ways to earn income. Oh, and I forgot, if you didn't see it, there was a worksheet that I posted into the event page. So make sure you take a look at that. I'm going to kind of go off of that so you can follow along with that too if you want to. So there's 2 basic ways to earn income, and one is through our product sales commission from our customers, and then the other, which we're going to talk about, is the team cycle bonus. So for those who don't know what that is, or this is the first time you're hearing about it, it's generated by our team volume. And once you become an Emerald coach or higher, you are eligible to earn team cycle bonuses. And so where that comes from is from volume on your weak leg and volume on your strong leg. So in general, you want to have 100 volume on your weak leg and 200 on your strong. And actually, Michael Neiman, I think it is, does a really good video on this where he uses like action figures and stuff. So I'm not going to go into all of that. And if you haven't seen that video, it's kind of dorky, but it does give you a good idea of that volume and the team cycle bonus. So in general, as an Emerald coach, when you have the team cycle bonus, you can earn $14 each time. Ruby is 16, and then Diamond and above is 18. So the volume that you earn is from the sales of the coaches in both of your legs. So your left and right legs of your entire downline. So when I say entire downline, that's coaches that you place under you and then that are personally sponsored, and then coaches that your coaches place, and then coaches that the outside of the team place under them. So it's not necessarily just people that you've placed. So that's where all of your volume comes in your entire downline. So in general, the more volume that you have on both sides, and of course the higher rank you are, will equal more team cycle bonus income. So how do we find out where that is? How do we track it? How do we look at it? So if you look in, and I apologize because I would have shared my screen, but my laptop is a little slow, so you all would have been waiting for my laptop to catch up. So, so if you are able to go into your team, your coach office, you may want to take a look there. But when you track your volume in the new coach office format, there's a few places to look at your volume. And in order to be eligible, again, for the team cycle bonus, you have to be an active coach and you must be at least a paid Emerald and paid Emerald status. Otherwise, you won't be eligible for the cycle bonus. So the first place you can look is right when you log into the coach office. You'll see my dashboard on the left-hand side. And then underneath that, you'll see volume. So you just click on volume. And that's going to give you a general summary of your volume situation. So it's going to tell you your carryover volume, because that's the other good thing. If you don't use volume, say on your strong leg, because you don't have enough or any on your weak leg, you're still going to accumulate that, and that's going to carry over. So you don't have to worry about that. So you're going to see what your carryover volume is. So if you look now and you're a newer coach, you may have carryover volume on your strong leg, and it may look a little different on your weak leg. The other thing you'll see there is your current week team volume. So that's for this particular current week, how much volume you've earned in both of your legs for that week. And then the other thing you'll see there is the total team volume by leg. So that's just basically your carryover volume plus the volume in your current week, and it adds it up together. So that kind of gives you an idea. Like, say you have 595 volume points on your weak leg. That's going to show you that if you get 5 more points between now and tomorrow night, Wednesday night, then you can cycle 6 times, because 600 divided by the 100 is 6 times. Okay. There's 2 other places you're going to want to look, and that's under the Monitor My Business heading on the coach office. And so you can look in team volume, and that's going to give you your total by each leg per week. And you can click on those numbers for more detail. So we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but when you're trying to strategize as to how to increase your volume and you want to see who's bringing in volume, you can click on those numbers and get the detail of where that volume is coming from. And then also under the Monitor My Business tab, you'll see the carryover volume. And this is a larger amount. That's going to give you all of your volume, how many times you've cycled, and it's going to give you your lifetime cycles as well. And for the engineer nerd that I am, you can export that into an Excel file if you want to, and you can sort it and add up and kind of see where you're at and where you've been. So now we're going to learn how to calculate that team cycle bonus calculation. So like I said in the beginning, if you have 100 volume on your weak leg and 200 on your strong, then you will cycle. And it's, again, $14 for Emerald, $16 for Ruby, and $18 for Diamond or above. So what you want to do is think about your income goals. And I know that we may not always focus on that. But for some of us, like for me, for example, my ultimate goal is to hand in my resignation letter to my corporate job and be able to do this. So I'm looking at, trying to pay off bills and that kind of thing. So I'm looking at different income goals. So once you get your income goal, then you're going to want to reverse engineer to find out how to get to it. And it's nice to do this for the team cycle bonus because you can't always count on your product sales commissions, but if you can get to a point where your team cycle bonus is pretty regular, you can count on that income a little bit more, and then what you get from product sales commissions is going to be on top of that. So if you use this as like your minimum goal, that's a good place to be. So in the worksheet, you might be a little bit scared because the example they used for the conference was $1,000 a week in team cycle bonus, and that may seem, really far off for some people. And I mean, that's a great long-term goal. But if you're looking even like around team leader status, and let's say you want to bring in like $300. Let's start small. $300 a week in team cycle bonus. And still, that's $1,200 a month. Like, what would we all do with $1,200 extra a month, right? And for some, that can be an income replacer. So what you would do is take your income goal, your weekly income goal, and if your income goal is monthly, if it's annual, just divide it, by 12 or by 4, so that you can get to your weekly income goal. So if you take, and we're going to go with a diamond amount of $18 because we're all also, working towards diamond or trying to stay there. So $300 of your income goal divided by $18 equates to 17 cycles. So it's a little bit less, but you have to get to 17 in order to get the $300. So then what you want to do is you've got 17, you have to cycle 17 times. So 17 times your 100 team volume in your weak leg would be a 1,700 team volume minimum in your weak leg. And 17 times 200 in your strong would be 3,400 team volume minimum. The total of that is 5,100 team volume total, but you want to think 1,700 weak and 3,400 strong. So you can plug in on that worksheet. It's got a place where you can calculate your own income goal. So figure out what your own income goal is, and you can kind of play around with the numbers as well and kind of see where you need to be to get to certain income levels. So to get there to our income goal, we have to add more volume. So how do we add more volume? Well, first, adding customers and coaches. And we need customers to turn into coaches, and we need coaches to add customers who turn into coaches, who add customers, and so on and so on. So that's going to increase all of that volume in your downline. Another important piece is to increase retention, which I'm like definitely not perfect at a lot of things. And I've made a lot of mistakes in coaching, but I actually think that I'm pretty good in my retention of my team and my downline. And so you really want to focus on that retention because that's what's going to give you that cycle bonus over and over and over again. And you want to make sure that they're using products too, that they're not just a bunch of inactive coaches on your downline. So you want to introduce more products. I mean, we have stuff coming out all the time. And it doesn't have to be, any flashy like sales info that you're giving them, but just keep in touch with your coaches and customers. And, like we do in the beginning, like what are your goals? What are your struggles? What are your barriers? What are you having trouble with? What other products can help them? And really try to identify that so that we can bring more products to our customers and ultimately our coaches in the downline so that they can, keep keep purchasing, really. So help them understand the value of those different products. I mean, we've got new protein bars coming out soon. We've got the new mindset program. There's, something for everybody. Everybody's really using Energize a lot, a lot more. And there's just so many different products out there. The apparel is now counts for volume as well. So wear and share, post pictures with your Beachbody equipment and apparel, all that kind of stuff. And then you want to focus on volume strong coaches. So that kind of ties in the same thing. But you want your coaches, ultimately, we want business builders who are going to bring in more volume, even part-time coaches and hobby coaches that are going to be generating more volume. And, we don't want to discount coaches that maybe have family, significant others, spouses that maybe they don't want to coach and maybe they don't even want to sell, but maybe they want to get something else on a discount for a family member to increase their volume. So that's how you can help yourself find your volume strong coaches. And then ultimately, like the ultimate goal is developing star diamond coaches in your downline, which is a further off goal for a lot of us. But those star diamond coaches are obviously naturally going to have a good amount of volume under them in your downline. So to summarize at kind of what to do with all of this, so 4 actions that you can take to increase your volume. And I kind of talked a little bit about this, but you can write these 4 things down. Number 1, develop a plan around retention. You want to be deliberate and specific with your retention plan too. Are your coaches in your downline involved in your challenge groups? Are they active? Are they drinking Shakeology? Are they 365ers? Do they know about the 365 prizes that are really awesome? Are they trying out the new programs? Are they doing new programs? Do they know about the new programs? Keep them engaged just as much as your new coaches and customers. Increase the product knowledge, your own product knowledge. Again, we need to be proof the products work. We need to be using the products, but really increase your knowledge about them so that, again, we can find the little niches of things that people need the products for. Like the boost, there's different areas that can serve different people. And that's going to equate to additional product consumption on your team, which will increase the volume. Number 3 is to develop a plan for creating those volume strong coaches. Again, deliberate and specific plan. How are you going to create those volume strong coaches? So again, are they sharing what they know about the products? Do they have the product knowledge? It kind of just goes right down and sharing all this information with them. And so that they're using the things, again, are they drinking their Shakeology every day? And are they using the latest programs and getting the equipment that they need, the accessories and that kind of thing? And then number 4, identify and connect with your future Star Diamond coaches. So in the beginning, what are we doing in challenge groups? We're always looking for those challengers that would make great coaches. But don't forget to look at your coaches that would make great Star Diamond coaches. So you don't want to, forget about them as well, and kind of try to keep encouraging them if you really see a business builder in somebody, or that was maybe their goal down the road. Don't forget about them. Just like we don't want to forget about our challengers that could be coaches, we don't want to forget about our coaches that can potentially be Star Diamond coaches. So I think that's everything I had. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast, and hopefully you guys can look at that worksheet if you have any other questions, and work on your income goals and drilling that down so you know where you need to go. And I think Sarah is talking next. So does anyone have any questions? Okay.
Thanks, Valerie. All right, I am going to go ahead. I went ahead and picked as close to the head honcho as you can get, and I'm going to summarize what Melanie Mitro presented to us. And I think she's done this same talk every year at the New Leader Conference on success and life balance. I really enjoyed that she pulled in, you know, a little bit of her backstory and talked about how initially she was just so obsessed with building the business because her husband was a huge naysayer. But then her personal life kind of started to crumble. And then it took literally 2 years for them to like get on the same page and everything like that. So like Chris, I picked a topic that is really a weakness for me. And that is scheduling, sticking to a schedule, and also staying focused during that scheduled time. So I am going to, she talked a little, you know, at the end of June. As a full-time athletic trainer. So this first is what it looked like. And all that red area was my full-time job. I worked in the afternoons. I never saw, you know, I am not making what I made doing that, but that's my goal for this year is to I was not getting my workouts in early in the morning. And so those little tiny white areas were the only time that I had at home in the morning to do work. And a lot of that time I was running around, I was cooking, I was just running around to house stuff. And I actually did get a lot of work done at work because of the downtime with the nature of my job. But I had also picked up some part-time jobs, knowing that my plan was to leave work and that I still wanted to stay involved in athletic training. So when Melanie started to talk about like what your schedule should look like on a weekly basis, she said, you need to set some basics in place first. Okay. And the first thing that, and I think Megan would agree with this, is you really need to set your wake up time in your miracle morning. So, you know, if you're joining us on the Zoom, that's great. If you do it on your own, that's great. But you need to have that time set. And if you watch the Mel Robbins call from last Thursday, if you qualified Success Club in January and watch that Mel Robbins call, she talks about keeping your phone out of the bedroom, waking up, not hitting the snooze button. And I could go on and on about that, but I won't. But set that wake up time. And right now with our 80-day obsession, we've really got to schedule workouts. Like if we don't schedule those workouts, you can't just cram it into these little spaces anymore. You have to plan to get that hour workout in, to get the eating in around it. So I do love that 80-day obsession has happened because I know a lot of people have really changed the way they look at prioritizing their workout and their eating. So I think that all kind of ties it together. And then also, what time are you getting ready to go to bed? What time are you going to bed? So my time is 10 o'clock is when I'm supposed to shut everything down and start getting ready for bed. I might not hop in bed until 10:30, but that 10:30 to 5 a.m. gives me, for me, adequate sleep. So, and then you want to schedule in your family time. So for me, my family time, my kids get up usually around 7, so they're awake and I'm kind of like narrating them through part of their morning while I'm finishing my workout. We have a little bit of time in the morning. I drive them to school. That is something that I choose to do because otherwise they have to get up almost a whole hour earlier. And Melanie talked about how she takes that chunk of time when her kids get off the bus and she puts her phone in the office and she steps away from her business. Now, it doesn't have to be for, from 3:30 until you go to bed. it could be until the kids are in bed, so that you can get on a call like this. But you need to set that family time. I found it very hard to really keep the phone away, because there are certain things that you want to do. Like, you want to snap some of those life photos. Like, I do a lot of posting about my food. So I grab my phone a little bit more frequently than I want to, but I'm making more of a concerted effort to tuck that phone away so that I can spend quality versus quantity time with the family. And Megan is always an amazing example with this. Like, when she's with her kids, she's truly present with her kids. And that I really admire about her. So step 2 is to add in your your job and your work hours. So in addition to wake up, workout, family, kid time, I still work part-time, several different jobs. Tomorrow I go to Richmond to work for a few hours. I actually am working a 3-day weekend this weekend where I'm doing 12-hour days. Athletic training. I help my husband out at our coffee shop. And then I also work. It's fun. I can almost not call it work. I work at the dance studio in town where my kids and I take classes. So that's like kind of fun and kind of work. So that's what all those kind of mauve colors are on my calendar. So you want to make sure that you get those work times in so that you can see the gray area that you still have left. I added in the standing meetings and calls that I have. I'm always big at showing up in person for these calls. I want to get the national wake up call listened to, within 24 hours, if not the same day. I have some elite and diamond calls that take place on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So you want to block those out so you make sure that you don't schedule other appointments and things like that over top of them. And then finally, the last, this one's a little bit big. I had to expand some of my areas. Let's see if I can make this a little, I don't know. Can you guys see the whole thing there? I don't know. Okay. So I put some meal prep time in green. I love to cook, but I'll tell you, I have to limit myself with how much I'm cooking because I can let that eat up so much of my work time. Like tomorrow I'm going to Richmond to work, but I have this nice 2-hour chunk in between seeing patients that I'm going to go to Starbucks. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do some work because really that's kind of my only time that I have tomorrow. I might do a little bit when my kids get home, but I also have to teach a weightlifting class and I have tap class tomorrow night. So, that orange time is the time that I have to work my business. Now, I've said that my plan for the week is I want to aim for 20 hours a week, like butt in the seat, working my business. Melanie talked about setting timers so that you want to prioritize your to-do list. Once you have those blocks of time, setting your priorities for that time frame, eliminating your distractions, so closing out windows, setting your phone on airplane mode, and setting a timer, which I'm still not great at because I'm bad at judging how long it's going to take me to do something, and I just want to keep going once that timer goes off. But you have to start somewhere. You have to practice it at some point, and then constantly just kind of evaluating your progress and are you getting enough work done in that time frame. So if you tend to be a slow messenger, like when you're sending out messages, I like to kind of go back and check somebody's page and see what they've been up to and like have longer conversations. Like I just have never banged out the messages. So I know that if I have an hour, I might only message 10 or 15 people. It's not particularly it's not hitting a ton of volume, but I need to work on being more effective at doing that so that I can reach more people and help more people. Again, I kind of put in like my work this weekend is going to be very time consuming. I am going to do my workout in the hotel room before I have to be at the field at 7:00. But, there's a chance that I might not get to do any work this weekend while I'm out. I mean, we're covering thousands of athletes. It's a big event. So I hope that makes sense on the time blocking. I can go ahead and share this document into the event so that people can kind of see how that, I kind of put things in there. But I hope that made sense. I'm going to pass it off because I don't want us to go over time. So Stephanie, you can go ahead and take it away. And if you have questions, just post them in the event.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. I will be quick because I know that your time is super valuable. And I think a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about are a lot of it's common sense, just a good reminder. So one of the amazing speakers was Kim Fitzpatrick. She and her husband, Jamie, I think was a top 10 coach this year. They're from Canada. They are amazing. They started in the business just a couple years ago and they've skyrocketed. And I think a lot of it has to do with one of her topics, which was amazing customer service. So she told her story, and I wanted to tell a little story about why I think customer service is so important. So I happen to have a couple of friends who are also in network marketing, and one of them sells Norwex, which I am like super crunchy. Like that is my jam. Like I would live in a tiny house. I love all things like organic. That's my thing. So I love Norwex products. Love, love, love them. They've changed my life. They've changed our family's life. I have another friend who sells Unique. I don't wear a lot of that. It's not, I don't know how to do it. I get wiggly lines. I mean, I got wrinkles now, so things get in the creases. It's not pretty, but I want to support her, right? So I've purchased from both of these people. Now, my Norwex person, I love Norwex. Like I think I have most of the catalog. I have everything from skincare to towels to everything. Her customer service makes me not want to send anybody to her. Like she doesn't respond to my messages. I ask her for things and she might get back to me. She might not. And she's a friend, so I still order through her and it's not a, crisis. So I don't send my business elsewhere, but I certainly would never recommend her to anyone. Then I have this friend who sells Unique. Again, I don't wear a lot of this stuff. But let me tell you, when I did purchase something from her, she was on it. She tracked my product. Hey, you should be getting it by 3 p.m. today. After a couple of days, how did you like it? And I actually had a problem with the product. She's like, oh my goodness, let's send it back. We'll do it right away. She had it all taken care of. Now, every time she posts a sale or something, I want to support her. Not only do I want to support her, but I want to send everybody I know to her. And it reminded me of Beachbody, right? People can buy Beachbody stuff from the website. They don't need me. They don't need you, right? But that's who you're selling. You're not selling Beachbody. We're selling ourselves. And the biggest part of that is how we make others people feel, how we help others achieve their goals, right? So customer service is really what we're selling. Yes, we use it with these amazing products, Shakeology, Beachbody On Demand, Energize, Recover. Yes, we have these amazing products to offer, but we're really selling ourselves. And that's where customer service comes in. So, Kim, I'm just going to rattle these off and I'll actually post them in our group too so that you don't even have to write them down. But she and Jamie try to make themselves irreplaceable. And how they do that is in a bunch of different ways. One is pulse checks. She calls them pulse checks because she worked with the elderly community and she literally checked people's pulses. And that's where she wants to be with all of her challenges. Where are you? What's working for you? What's not working for you? How do we get you the best results? And that goes in the next thing, results do matter. How do we help our clients get the best results so that they're not feeling like they bought this program and it's sitting on a shelf and maybe someday they'll get to it. No, how do we help them unwrap that box? How do we help them dive into the containers and really use them and see the results so that they can tell other people, they can be a walking billboard and they can tell other people what they did to change their lives and maybe help other people as well. This was a really cool one. Teach our customers to be resourceful. So I know I'm guilty of this, but a client will ask me a question and in the group I'll Google it because hello, that's where we find everything. and I'll type the answer in. Well, maybe we should say, hey, I checked out this resource and this is what I found, so that we can show them this is how I found it. I don't have all this unlimited knowledge in my head. Like, I know how to get it. How do we help people through navigating BOD? So I'll talk later on. Actually, one of the things is weekly Zoom calls. And so Valerie and I actually started a new group this week, and she ran a Zoom on Sunday night, so right before our group started, walking people through Beachbody On Demand. Here's where you find Fixate. Here's where you find your program materials. Because it can be overwhelming, right? So how do we step them through that so that they can feel like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to check this out myself. The Beachbody blog. Oh my goodness, there's so many great articles in the Beachbody blog. Pointing them to that resource and helping them use it. So we're kind of teaching them, like, you don't have to know everything to be a coach. You don't have to know everything to be a challenger or a coach. You can help people if you know where to look. So it's a great way to get them into the idea that maybe they could coach too. They also send a welcome email, which has a lot of information, and they created a resource guide using a lot of stuff in the back office, which I need to dive into. There's so much new stuff in there now that they really just put together a packet for people, and a lot of it comes straight from there. So we should dive into that back office and maybe create something. In there, there's a habit tracker, a food tracker. They do a book club, client assessments, and they also have this really cute thing where, like, if somebody doesn't show up for a little while, they do like this search warrant thing, and you know, they make a big deal out of, hey, so-and-so hasn't shown up. Has anyone seen them? Kind of cute, but it reminds people that, hey, people are paying attention. People are noticing when you're there and when you're not. Okay, I ran through that. I'll post in our group those quick things that relate to our business, but I wanted to end with this. I've been to a bunch of Beachbody trainings. I've been to Summit. I actually even had the opportunity to, like, total backdoor in, but got to go to the leadership retreat last year. And this was by far the best training for people in our stage. Anyone from new in the business up to 2-star diamond, even 3 and 4-star diamond. I feel like it really related to where we are. And I mean, we're trying to condense 2 days of training into an hour, which is impossible. But we have so much spinning in our heads and so much that we want to implement in our team. So I just want to encourage you that this is a very attainable goal for you for 2018. And if you can be there next year, that should totally be on your radar, because just 1-star diamond, 10 elite points, it's worth it. Every minute of it was worth it, not even just the training, but even being there with some other Team Phoenix folks and getting to pick their brain and sitting around doing a power hour together and being physically in the same location. It was amazing how, like, I learned just by literally sitting next to someone. It was almost like osmosis, right? So being surrounded by all these amazing, positive people, totally worth your while. Definitely a goal that you should shoot for. I'm done.
Well, thank you, ladies. That was a lot of awesome stuff. I encourage you guys to print up the document that Valerie shared. I think that's really important. And I look forward to hearing, or whatever, sharing, Stephanie, what you talked about, the list from Kim. So guys, thank you so much. But I really love that you shared that tracker, Valerie. I think enough people, a lot of people don't take that stuff very seriously, but then they might be frustrated later when they're not feeling like they're making money. But what you have to track it, and you have to set goals, else you're probably not going to move very far forward. You know, you have to have something to aim for and have to understand the compensation plan, at least enough to know what you need to do to make it grow. So definitely take advantage of that if income is important to you. I don't know who it's not important for, but obviously we all have different, like Valerie said, some people need to leave jobs. So it's much more important for you to be tracking. So I just wanted to reiterate that I do feel like that's something that I haven't been as good at sharing as far as resources. So I'm glad that it exists. But okay, it's 10 o'clock. So y'all need to go to bed so that you can get 8 hours for those muscles to repair, because they're really ready for some glycogen tomorrow. I think most of you are doing 8 days session. Okay, guys, have a great night. Sleep well, and I hope to see some more bingos tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for for showing up live. I appreciate it. Good night.